Hey, Brandon Garinger here. RPG Pundits created Lion and Dragon, a medieval, authentic OSR role playing game. And this is what this video is going to be about. So, where Dark Albion is his setting, Lion and Dragon is his system. See how that works? They kind of go together like chocolate and peanut butter, and which I'm a big fan of. And I enjoy Dark Albion. It had some house rules in the back. Had some very cool art that I enjoy. Kind of an old style. This has got that same style of art. And of course, I'm going to enjoy it just the same. So it says here it's with Lion and Dragon, the roles of the original tabletop RPG have been adapted to create a more historically authentic medieval experience. And I think he succeeded in that. To someone who's not a historian, it seems very much like I'm playing a different game or has a different feel. A lot of stuff that he talks about, he backs up with kind of an understanding of why it is. Between the social status that plays a very important role to how people didn't live very long, and they had, it was you died at an early age, unfortunately, from disease or something like that, to how monotheism is very important in the system as well as the setting of Dark Albion, and the way that the magic is now rare and different, and how civilization is going to be your key to survival, not the deadly wilds of hills and forests and stuff. So that's how it's kind of changing itself from it, and it's got a couple of new innovative systems to try to push that along. You're going to roll up stuff like your background history, your background skill is going to be based off your social class. So if you're a serf or a peasant, or a villain, which is more about living in the city, is you're going to get a skill from that. It's based off a normal DC, D20 roll, target number 10, 15, 20 for difficulty. And you get some bonuses to whatever it is. Maybe if you're a serf, like I said, a serf or a lord or a knight. And the skill system's very small. All it does is say, there's a bunch of different skills. Whatever you're good at, you get a +1, and you try to beat a target number. So you could have everything from, hunting to wilderness lore, to stealth. There's a bunch of different skills. Whatever, that really makes it easy on whoever's running this game with the skills. You don't have some sort of real crunchy kind of system for keeping up with that. So that's enjoyable. And then everything you do with your character creation, from your background to your family, how many siblings you have if they're still alive, I think it's going to really reinforce that medieval feel to it. And then your classes are going to be your normal stuff that we know: cleric, thief, fighter. But there's also the Magister, which is like your magic user, the Cymry, which are Welsh people, and the Scotsmen, who are going to be kind of barbarians. The Cymry are like kind of like jack of all trades, dealing with they deal with combat, stealth, and some magic use. And those are pretty much your character classes. Whenever you go up in level, you can roll randomly on a benefits table based off your class, or you can choose one of the benefits that you're going to get when you level up, and that could be everything from a better saving throw to a better combat attack value, more hit points and stuff like that. So, a very neat little system that he's created that I think is innovative when it comes to leveling up and either choosing to roll twice randomly or pick one yourself. So, I think that's going to lead to some interesting choices on different type of character classes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about kind of overview, and I want to hit the two main sections. Really, the main section is going to be the Magister section on how it really changes up, because it says here it's based on actual grimoire magic. So arcane tomes full of these magical diagrams and inscriptions and strange languages and stuff like that is going to help unlock a more true to life style of magic. So that being said, it has your normal fare of sections. It's got a whole combat section in there with his combat, which is very good. He's got great rules for parrying, pretty much defensive combat, real rules, not just I'm going to fight defensively, I get +2 to armor class. Not like, shields are better, actually defending and, rolling that up and how that actually works is actually very innovative. And he's got a critical chart in there. Those are fun, makes it a little gritty. for when you roll your d20. There's a section on on poisons and herbal medicines, how to find them and how to create them. There's rules for firearms, which I would definitely use. It takes like 6 rounds to reload one of the firearms, and it has an exploding damage mechanic, which is fun, of course, with firearm. Whole section, of course, on currency, so you get to learn about shillings and pounds and pennies and stuff like that. Armor has a better armor class when a fighter is wearing it. I like that. A thief can still wear whatever armor they want, but the armor class is not going to be as good. Just because an armor has certain defensive properties doesn't mean a certain character class is going to be able to know how to use it properly. So I think that's a neat, innovative thing. It's got a great section on equipment, food, clothing, expenses. Encumbrance has got a 20-item encumbrance system that he's created, which is very easy to use, and I like that because I do like encumbrance. Rules for schooling your character, even in a university or tuition, like a tutor type thing. Dowries, should you decide to get married. Wages for certain type of jobs, or an archer, infantry, peasant, stuff like that. Real estate, renting, buying. And a lot of it just makes sense in the scheme of what Lion and Dragon's trying to do. So we'll get all these out, and then we'll get to the real good different changes stuff. His rules on reaction rolls and morale are very good, very thorough. They're not just a very small section that says, roll this and this happens, roll this. That kind of explains more about what those creatures might do when they react, whenever you see them, or those people, whenever you encounter them, when they break, if it's a single, target, or if it's a group, like when do they roll reaction? When do they roll morale rolls? Very helpful stuff that some other games just don't have. Whole section on treasure. Magical items all have names. A lot of them have like background stories. I'm pretty sure every single one I read has got some sort of background story explaining what the item is, and in the context with history and locations and stuff like that. And so that's very neat. And it's all these things are help to create this more medieval feel to this game. Rules on trials, should your character be put on trial for various different offenses, such as having a weapon on in the city. I talked about that in Dark Albion. Having armor on, if it's not part of your social class, then you might be questioned about that, might be arrested, weapons confiscated. How to bribe, in a trial. Rules for encounters over wilderness. And it's very complete. Everything we know, a whole bestiary area there with, unicorns, wyvern, kind of your standard gambit, griffin, goblins, a good number of monsters. Not a huge amount, but I think a good number that you'll be happy with. You won't see too many things that are missing for this medieval type setting and system. So let's go ahead and get to it. The Magister. The Magister is definitely going to be where it's much different, and the Cleric to some degree as well. There's no longer a bunch of spells and stuff like that. For starters, with the Magister, there's summoning. And it's kind of all by itself, and pretty much you're going to be trying to summon up a demon of various types of strengths and powers, trying to claim dominion over that demon, all the while not losing your soul or being horribly possessed by it or something like that. And you're going to use the demon for some sort of benefit. There's kind of like minor and major type of powers that they can possibly help you with. Obviously, the more difficult ones are going to be harder, and you're going to need a more stronger demon to summon up. But neat section there that is in Dark Albion as well. But again, it's right at home here in this book, and that's neat. It gives that type of, you look at the different pieces of art, and you can see there's demons in the background and stuff like that. And it just kind of goes along with that great feel of the way that Dark Albion is, and the way that obviously Lion and Dragon is. So Magisters have two things. They've got lores, which are pretty much knowledge-based abilities, such as kind of like herbal medicine, etiquette, law, languages. They're very much a thinker's class. Obviously intelligence is their main ability score that they need to have, a high score on. But so they're a mixture of like a a think tank. They're someone to go to when you need somebody that's got some intelligence. But then they also have these magical skills. There's 6 of them: astrology, cures, banishing, battle magic, astrological talismans, and true alchemy. Not just herbal medicine, but actually true alchemy. And each one of these are very thorough, very much explain what they do. And the only thing that's going to actually that that's going to really, you show this to somebody, they're going to say, wow, yeah, this is definitely different because I don't have all those spells and stuff like that. Is these magical skills. And the flip side of that is going to be the clerics, and they have marvelous powers. So what they're going to have is they're going to start off with there's 8 of them, and if you get all 8, you unlock pretty much divine intervention. Pretty much you can call upon whatever god it is that you worship, hopefully the unconquered sun, and get aid directly from your deity. And they've got marvelous powers such as blessing, divine inspiration, holy light, holy weapon, laying hands, sanctuary, turn undead, and visions. A lot of those represented in other games as normal spells, but these are much more thorough, and they just make more sense in this medieval setting, I believe. A lot of them have to do with the DC numbers and target checks, your target numbers you're trying to get, and that's the cleric has a prayer check, and the magister has a magic check that they roll, and it's pretty much a D20 like wisdom or intelligence bonus plus your level. And a lot of these things are DC, like the holy weapon. A cleric can attempt to place a blessing on a weapon, shield, or armor. This is done by a prayer check against a DC of 15. And then it talks about what it does for armor or weapons. If you roll higher, it might do something even better. And it's like that for a good bit of the game. These different new systems that are in here. Laying hands is one of the things that will immediately heal hit points. One of the only things, as a lot of the healing is improving your healing rate when you sleep, which I think is actually pretty neat. Sanctuary, turn undead, those things are very understandable if you've played some role-playing games in the normal typical D&D type role-playing games. Visions, you can see sense supernatural chaos within 60 objects, spell effects, creatures within 60 feet of the radius. And then there's rules again for the divine intervention, and the cleric is very good. I like that a lot. But I think the more exciting thing for people is going to be the magical skills with the Magister. That's definitely going to be just neat. Cures for stuff like removing infection, madness, blindness, banishing, using a circle, kind of smoking a space. You've seen kind of using incense to kind of smoke the space, and what that does in a game's sense, the system and how it works. That banishing gestures that you may be able to do. And a lot of the stuff is going to have to deal with spirits, undead, incorporeal undead, demons. And so I think this game can do a cool kind of medieval kind of dark horror almost to it, with a lot of the summoning, the spirits, and the undead. So I think that's pretty neat. Magic, the battle magic has got stuff like a blasting wand you have to make. The talismans are all things you have to, a bunch of different talismans you can make. Made out of different materials like gold and silver and copper. They do stuff such as, right here's what it says: grants a +1 favorable modifier to reactions from anyone of a higher social class. Another one says it grants a +1 to any leadership-related checks for a commander in battle. So there's a whole bunch of different talismans you can make, and I think that's a really cool magic skill to be able to make those. And then true alchemy is going to be making stuff like banishing water, draught of courage, rain powder. That's a minor. These are minor things. You have major ones: Byzantine dragon fire, making a golem, things like that. Much larger in scope. Obviously, using the mixture of herbal medicine and actual true magic, I guess you could say. And I think that's very cool. Going all the way up to making the elixir of life or the philosopher's stone. So items of legend, pretty much in this time period, that you're going to be able to create should you get up to that high level to be able to make them. Huge rules for them. And so, that's an overview of what it is. But to sum up, a lot of what the book has going for it is going to be the fact that RPG Pundit doesn't just say this does this, this does that. He all puts it into context with, uh, with historical, you know, um, facts, or it's kind of loosely in a role playing game, a fantasy role playing game, but he gives you that extra bit of information to really link it to the medieval times and to that goal that he's trying to do with this game. And I think that's what really helps ultimately push it over the edge. You can sit there and say, "Oh, I've changed up normal magic system, and this is what it is," but with all the other changes that he's done, really explaining about um, you know how this was back in time, or the English and the Welsh, and the Scotsman, and the different areas, um, and especially like with the magic items. The magic item is a good example of that. Or talking about the currency, how 24 eggs is a penny. That's like a currency standard. I mean, just stuff like that is stuff I didn't know. It makes you want to go out and learn more about history. I've already looked up some stuff about, about whales, and not the animal, but the land. And it's fun to have something that's historical based like this. Still has that fantasy element, but it makes you want to go learn a little bit more about either the War of the Roses, or again, Wales or Scotland, and how some of these things were: astrology, astronomy, alchemy back in these times. Currency. I was looking up currency when I looked at this book the other day, and about learning about shillings and pennies and pounds and stuff. And as obviously as an American, a lot of that stuff is slightly foreign to me, but it's just neat to have that mixture of the historical and the fantasy all in this book. It's going to play great with his other Cults of Chaos. He's also got some PDFs that he's been putting out called RPG Pundit Presents, I think they're called. And I've checked out a couple of them. More grimoires, an advanced astronomy PDF, and a PDF on pipe weed and pipes, with all the different types of pipe weed giving you different magical type abilities. Very minor, but still neat, as he's obviously an avid pipe smoker. So yeah, that's Lion and Dragon. It's been a difficult video to make. It's very late, and I'm trying to hold on to whatever I got left. But I think if you've got Dark Albion and you want a setting, you want a system that's going to really meld well with that. Obviously, getting his Lion and Dragon is going to do a fantastic job. And I'm not aware of other settings that are out there that would go well with it. I'm probably just ignorant to them. I'm certain they're out there, but I think that's a great mix for both of them. I'm interested to see what he does more with his RPG Pundit Presents his releases. Some of them are obviously related, to Lion and Dragon, such as the grimoires and stuff like that. But yeah, it's got a neat character class creation, neat way to roll up when you level up, neat, unique magical items, as well as section on pretty much law and order in a medieval setting. And then those great sections on summoning demons, magical skills, and marvelous powers of the cleric and the magister. So that's Lion and Dragon. I think he succeeded. And I'm looking forward to whatever else is next that is in this Lion and Dragon, Dark Albion type of vein that he's cut out for himself. I think I've already messaged him. I'd love to see some more land, spotlights. Like if there was a whole Wales book, that would be great, or Scotland or London. That would be really neat to have some geography based books, set with dark, and obviously Dark Albion based. That would be great. Hint, hint. RPG Pundit. But no, it's a great book, and it really is. It's a book that when I originally saw it and I was reading some stuff on it, I was like, eh. But then when I got it and I read it a couple times, here and there, pieces here and there, I said, oh, this is pretty neat. And then as I read it more and more and more and went back over sections, I really started to see the real synergy of how it all kind of blends together and does create that medieval feel that it's shooting for. So hopefully, this has been helpful for you. If you like it and you want more videos, subscribe and like the video. I will, when I see that, I know that people are out there and they're watching the video, and it makes me want to make more. So, it always helps to have, that positive backing into making a video. But yeah, I hope this has been helpful for you. I'm interested in. I can't wait to play it, and it's just like with Dark Albion. It's something that I feel like kind of elevates the game from kind of a normal, basic kind of vanilla fantasy, either setting or system, and gives it a little bit of a tweak that might make you pick up a history book, and I think that's pretty neat. So thanks for watching, and see you next time.